In a fifth-floor office of a Manhattan publishing house, sunlight streams through a large window, glinting off Henry Walsh's silver hair, lending his face a cold, unforgiving edge. On the oak desk, James Carter's thick manuscript lies still, awaiting judgment. Walsh taps the cover lightly, his gaze fixed on the young writer across from him. His expression isn't angry, but the disappointment is unmistakable. James, let's be frank. This novel's not cutting it. It's bland, lifeless, like you're mimicking your old self from years ago. James stays silent, lips pressed tight, eyes locked on the empty space between them, searching for a defense but finding none. Walsh sighs. I had high hopes for you. Your early stories, they gave readers chills. But lately, it's like you're writing as a man tired of life but too weak to end it. Your golden days are gone, James. Readers don't wait. If this keeps up, we might need to pause our partnership. James swallows his frustration, reaching for the manuscript. He turns, walking slowly toward the door. As his hand touches the knob, Walsh's voice floats lightly behind him. One more thing. James freezes, not turning, just listening. Try horror. I know you're used to social psychology, but that's a tough sell now. Horror's hot, fast-paced, gripping. Young readers love it. It's not your wheelhouse, but sometimes you have to chase the market, right? James stands still, his shadow stretching long across the pale tiles. He opens the door and leaves without a sound. James Carter was once a literary star, but now, past 30, he's a shadow of his former self. At 22, his sharp, short stories stunned critics and captivated readers. His works became plays, his books reprinted endlessly, and he graced New York's young literary talk shows. But the spotlight faded, quiet as wind through a crack. New manuscripts were rejected, or, if published, gathered dust on bookstore shelves. He tried. For years, James holed up in a small Queens apartment, writing for hours, lost in tangled thoughts. But the deeper he dug, the more he lost his way. Inspiration was gone, leaving only lifeless pages no one cared to read. Today, another rejection hit, its words cutting like a blade. At dusk, James drags himself home. The door opens, and warm kitchen light spills out, mingling with Lily's bright laugh. "Daddy's back!" James forces a smile, kneeling to hug his daughter, her soft hair brushing his hand, easing the weight momentarily. Emily steps out, wiping her hands on a towel, her eyes gentle. "You haven't eaten, have you? I made corn soup and roast, your favorite." She sees the gloom on his face and asks softly, "Manuscript didn't go through?" James nods, slumping into a chair, exhaling heavily. Emily sits beside him, rubbing his hand. The small apartment is his only refuge, but it can't save a soul drained of words. That night, James bolts awake, drenched in sweat. In his dream, a dark figure stood at the foot of his bed, hands dripping red ink, whispering his name in a voice cold as a crypt. Days later, in a dimly lit Brooklyn cafe, James meets David Lee, a college friend now brimming with confidence, clutching a thick horror manuscript. "Still stuck on social psychology?" David laughs, eyes glinting. "I write horror, post online, get decent traction, even some talk show gigs. Not huge yet, but it pays. Try it, man. Don't cling to the old stuff. The market's changed." James hesitates, eyeing David's manuscript, something he once dismissed. David's words strike hard: adapt or be left behind. At home, an email from the publisher pops up: contract adjustment. They won't renew, won't reprint old books, and are slashing royalties. Each word hammers James's chest, signaling failure, obsolescence. In the dark room, the laptop's glow lights Emily's tired face, head slumped on the table, screen showing urgent translation due by morning. James watches her, heart tightening. The next morning, in the bathroom, his eyes are hollow in the mirror. Walsh's voice echoes, "Try horror." He returns to his desk, grabs a pen, and writes the first line. His hand shakes, a mix of fear and thrill. But in the mirror behind him, a shadow flickers, silent. Horror isn't easy. James is a stranger to it, lacking experience and barely familiar with quality horror stories. He studies, devours famous short stories, but his words remain stiff, soulless. At night, he rereads his drafts, finding them empty. If they don't scare him, how will they chill readers? Confidence fades, fear of failure clings. One night, the apartment complex is still. At 2 a.m., James works under a flickering yellow lamp, keys tapping softly. A scream tears through the silence from the next apartment, sharp as a blade. James startles, heart racing, eyes wide. The scream continues, raw and anguished. Emily wakes, face pale. They rush to the hallway, footsteps frantic. Neighbors gather, eyes terrified. The neighbor's door swings open, revealing a nightmare. The wife lies sprawled, eyes lifeless, body slashed with knife wounds. Her husband, face ashen, trembles, stabbing himself in the chest and neck, his groans fading. He collapses beside her, motionless. Silence falls, broken only by gasping breaths. Police conclude, a jealous rage. Husband killed wife, then himself. The tragedy shakes the complex, haunting all. For James, it's a jolt to the mind. He weaves the screams into his first horror draft, their echo in every line. But at night, he hears faint scratching in the walls, like nails on wood.
Walsh reads the draft and nods. "This has soul, raw and haunting. Haven't seen you write like this in years." The praise is a spark in the dark. James realizes to write real horror, you must live it, even if it's tragic, terrifying. He dives into research, police reports, grim neighborhoods, forgotten stories. He meets witnesses, their trembling voices recounting trauma. Sleepless nights he scribbles, stepping into the minds of victims and killers, probing human darkness. But even with meticulous study, his words lack that initial shiver. At his desk, the lamp casts a gaunt shadow on his face. He wonders, what's real writing? Piecing together news clippings or watching someone die? The thought chills him, yet a strange hunger stirs. At night, he dreams of a child with milky eyes whispering, "Write about me." The manuscript succeeds, but books on the shelf seem to open themselves, pages trembling as if alive. One rainy afternoon, James visits David's old apartment in a Brooklyn alley, windows fogged with mist. They talk writing, James confessing his emptiness. David smirks, all too familiar. They share dark ideas, stories too grim for outsiders. A week later, they agree to co-write a horror anthology based on truth. 2 months later, the book launches, igniting a frenzy among horror fans. Readers shiver at vivid details, screams, fingers twisted in agony. Comments flood in. It's like the authors were there.
James and David become sensations, lauded as the new wave of realist horror. But no one knows the cost of that truth. At night, James's pen leaks red ink, though he swears it's black. Success follows. James and David establish the House of Mercy in suburban New Jersey, a quiet retreat from New York. Media hail it, a haven born from horror literature. They smile warmly for cameras, accepting flowers and applause. The three-story house, cream white with flower-filled yard, looks like a peaceful resort. They take in orphans and lonely elders, hire caretakers and play godfathers, bringing milk, books, snapping photos. Fans once terrified by their stories now admire their compassion. But at night, flowers wither black, and faint cries echo from below like a buried curse. In the house's soundproof cellar, gray walls are stained as if seeped with death. When the light flicks on, outside sounds vanish, smothered by an unseen force. Thomas, 73, is bound with wire, back pressed to a rusted iron chair, neck drooping, breaths ragged, eyes taped shut, tears leaking. "James, David, spare me," he pleads weakly. James smokes, the cigarette's glow like a demon's eye. David adjusts the camera, gaze cold. "His eyes are fading," David says. "Perfect fear now. Get this shot." The iron door screeches like a banshee. A hulking man enters, his shirt reeking of decay, carrying a gleaming metal tray, pliers, hammer, axe, pointed rod. Each tool clanks like a coffin nail. Thomas trembles, urine pooling on the floor, stench rising. The man laughs maniacally, eyes wild, snapping Thomas's finger with a crack. "9 more, old man," he snarls. Thomas's scream is animalistic. James says coldly, "When they go silent, that's peak horror." David jots down, "Save for the finale. Their silence will make readers weep." The camera zooms on Thomas's face, torn skin, twitching mouth, hand maimed. "Spare me," he whispers. David's smile is ice. Society craves truth. They don't imagine, they build hell, capturing real screams. The walls seem to breathe, swallowing pain.
No sin escapes karma. After a Manhattan gala, James returns home, high on stage lights, clutching an award and wilted flowers. Emily and Lily sleep under a dim lamp. He whispers, "Soon a new house." In the bathroom, cold water can't shake the chill at his neck. In the mirror, his heart stops. Thomas stands behind, body twisted, neck broken, skin gray and rotting, eyes milky, breath foul as decay. A rasping voice, "Remember me, writer." James spins, nothing. Sweat pours. In the mirror, Thomas remains, hand piercing the glass like water. Real writing, real death. Enough? The mirror cracks, killer scrawled in shadow. James stumbles, falls, head hitting the door. Thomas crawls closer, joined by children's cries, elders' moans. "You wrote our deaths." In Brooklyn, David retches from liquor, collapsing on the sofa. Wind howls through the window. In a dream, he's in a dark room, floor slick, footsteps squelching like flesh. A flickering bulb reveals gaunt children on wooden chairs, eyes white, faces bruised, stitched. A girl, cheek slashed, holds a headless doll. "Play again, uncle?" Her voice chokes, torn. David backs away, tripping over Thomas's corpse, eyes blazing red. He runs, feet stuck. Book covers line the walls. A mummified hand grabs his neck. "Your turn." The house laughs,
shadows alive. Punishment comes not from law, but something worse. One night, James types, hearing scratches in the hall. He checks, empty. Back at his desk, the laptop shows, "Kill again." He didn't write it. In the bathroom, the mirror reflects a warped, grinning face behind him. David can't sleep, nightmares recurring, eyeless children, green skin, crouching by his bed. Why trap us? Awake, sweat-soaked, he sees them in curtains, bookshelves, staring unblinking. At a signing, a voice whispers to James, "Loved the eye-gouging scene, so real." He looks up, no one. Reality and illusionation blur. In a dim room, James asks David, "You see them following?" David nods, "Thought it was just me." They laugh, eyes brimming with terror, fear gnawing within. James sighs, "Can we call an exorcist? I can't take it." David agrees, "But the manuscript's not done, publisher's pressing." James's eyes flash. "One big hit, pour it all into this draft, then get a priest." David's smile is cold. "Go all out." They shake hands, sealing a horrific choice, believing it's their last act to banish the shadows. That night, in the House of Mercy's cellar, screams shred the air. The atmosphere chokes, death stench seeping into wood, walls icy. Bodies of elders and children lie twisted, agony frozen in their forms. Shadows dance, devouring cries. A month later, the manuscript reaches Walsh. He marvels, a new voice, haunting, unmatched in American horror. It's the essence of darkness, paid for with conscience. The book launches, a sensation. Its gruesome descriptions chill readers. Fame and wealth flood in. James and David idols, events packed. But books on shelves quiver, whispering curses. 6 months later, at a Manhattan gala, James and David are top contenders for a prestigious award. Suddenly, David clutches his head, pain crushing. "Help me to the bathroom," he gasps. James leads him to a frigid room, fluorescent lights flickering, cracked tiles ominous. The air is suffocating, chilling. David washes his face, James behind, eyes glowing red, possessed. The mirror shows eyeless children. "End it!" James grabs his head, slamming it into the stone sink. Bone cracks like thunder. David screams, eyes reflecting the newsboy, then stills, head crushed. James seizes a porcelain vase, smashing his own skull, each blow a toll to hell. He collapses beside David in a red pool. The house seems to pull them to its depths.
Their names ring out amid applause, but their seats are empty. The MC forces a smile, then a scream pierces from backstage. Nancy, a janitor, opens the bathroom door, seeing horror. 2 corpses, one head smashed, the other clutching vase shards. The mirror is streaked red, wilted petals scattered. Nancy stumbles back, hands shaking, calling security. The door slams like a crypt's lid. The MC stammers, maybe they're planning a surprise. None suspect the brutal truth. Their deaths stun the literary world, a storm sweeping through pages. Police seal the scene, question staff. Leaked bathroom photos shock online. Initial findings, a deadly fight. David attacked, James self-destructing. Suspected motives, disputes over rights, profits, fame. But the true nightmare lies in the New Jersey House of Mercy. Outwardly serene, its locked cellar stuns investigators. No light, reeking of death, rusted chains. A fixed camera captured everything. Hundreds of videos reveal the horrific truth. Videos show bruised children, trembling elders, caged, starved, forced to fight under blinding lights. children given knives, ordered to harm each other, if slow, tortured mercilessly. An elderly woman hangs by her wrists, in agony, the camera filming like a movie. All orchestrated by James and David. The videos match their book's details, characters, tortures, dialogue. Their praised realism came from real screams. The House of Mercy was a facade for atrocities, starting with the first sin. Their debut anthology, launching them to fame, was born from a Brooklyn newsboy's death, small, weathered by sun and wind. They lured him to David's apartment, promising to buy his papers, feed him. There, they bound him, filmed, tortured with starvation, cuts, shocks, until he died in agony. The process became their blueprint, crafted into a chilling story that rocketed them to success. They learned, real death fuels real emotion. The House of Mercy became their living material for horror, each chapter a death sentence for forgotten elders and orphans. Their charity was a lie, masking a sick obsession with pain. The truth breaks on the news, shaking the nation. Social media erupts with outrage. Books once called masterpieces are now crime evidence. Emily, James's wife, collapses, hospitalized, haunted by visions of him writing in darkness, calling for Lily. Learning victims were Lily's age, she retches, fainting. Lily lives with grandparents. David's family in Pennsylvania disowns his body, fearing disgrace. His house is locked, his parents' shrine cursed, his kin erase his name. Their books are recalled. A veteran journalist writes, "They were genius killers, writing with real pain." The case ends in immeasurable grief. The house is sealed, accomplices await trial. Videos chilled investigators. What is art? Is it worth innocent lives? The answer lies in the desolate house, screams still echoing. On David's shrine, their first book opens itself, pages showing victims' faces. Art must come from a beating heart, not demons. James and David climbed to glory on corpses, but karma entraps them in eternal hell.